Hey guys, this is Kevin from JazTime.com, and today we'll be doing a comparison between the Rolex Datejust 41 on my left here, reference number 126333, versus the newly released at the Bezel World 2017 show, the Rolex Sky Dweller, reference number 326933. We'll be going over the pricing, the dials, bezel, case, crown, bracelet, clasp, and we'll talk about the movement towards the end of the video. Okay, so as of January 2018, you can get this Datejust 41 from an authorized Rolex retailer for $12,050 plus tax, or you can get the Sky Dweller for $17,150 plus tax. Of course, here at JazTime.com, we have the lowest prices anywhere online, so give our website a thorough look through before you move on with your purchase. Alright, so let's go ahead and talk about the dials now. So the dials, very similar looking style dials. We have index hour markers fashioned in 18 karat yellow gold, and that's to prevent any tarnishing. The index hour markers and the hands as well. They're also luminous filled with a highly legible chromolite display with long-lasting blue luminescence that glows for up to 8 hours. So very nice visibility in the dark as well as the daytime as well. The hands, it's going to be a little bit larger on the Sky Dweller as it does have a tiny bit more dial real estate. So, and you can see that just the little thickness of the hands versus the hands on the Datejust. The Datejust has nice slimmer hands, while the Sky Dweller has a little bit thicker hands. Also skeletonization towards the center of the hands, and that's to not block the 24-hour off-center dial that's used to track an additional time zone. And we'll talk about more about that feature later. We still have the date window at the 3 o'clock position for both watches with a Cyclops lens on top of that sapphire crystal for easier viewing and magnification of that date. And besides that, the additional thing that the Sky Dweller has over the Datejust is at the very edges of the dial, we have these little square apertures, and that's actually the annual calendar, so it tracks the month on the watch as well. So currently the annual calendar is located at the 12 o'clock position. This indicated by this red dot, meaning that the watch is currently set to January 1st. Okay. Besides that, let's talk about the customization you can do for these watches. Of course, with Datejust, there's it's going to be more configurations on the Datejust than the Sky Dweller, as the Datejust is more of a dressier watch. The Sky Dweller comes, or not the Sky Dweller, but the Datejust comes in the champagne as we have in my hand here. Also in silver white and silver white index, but also a slate Roman, which is a special dial for the 126333, where it's a sort of a light grayish color with Roman numerals that are outlined in a green outline. The Sky Dweller, actually, very nice thing today is actually I have all these Sky Dweller colors, and I'm saying that because there's not that many colors. So the other colors the Sky Dweller comes in is black and white, and I can go ahead and show you here side by side. So these are the additional colors you can get the Sky Dweller in. So we have champagne in the first, then we have the black, and then the white dial. So let me go ahead and show you those really quickly here. Let me cycle through them. So there's that. That's champagne dial on the Datejust versus the white. And then from the white to the black. Okay. So those are the other colors you can get the Sky Dweller in. Those same colors can be found on the Datejust as well, the white and the black dial. Alright, so let's go ahead and talk about the bezel now. So for the bezels, similar style looking bezels, 18 karat yellow gold. However, the Datejust has a fixed bezel, so it's not a bezel that moves. The Sky Dweller has what's called a Rolex ring command bezel. And that actually adjusts the functions of the crown function, so allows for the crown to have additional functions. I'll go ahead and show you that once we get to it, but let's talk about the case now. So the case is nicely high polished on the lugs, as you can see from the top of the lugs, nicely high polished on the top of the lugs, matching with the nice high polish on the bezels of the watch, and patterns very nicely down to the even bottom of the lugs as well. The case sizes, it's a 41 millimeter Datejust, as the name states, Datejust 41, so 41 millimeter case size from an index finger to my thumb here. That's 41 millimeters in diameter. For the Sky Dweller, we're looking at 42, so index finger to my thumb here, that's 42 millimeters in diameter. The profile of the watch, Sky Dweller is going to be much larger than the Datejust. for two reasons, mainly because from the older style of the Datejust, which was the Datejust 2, which was the 116333, it had a little bit thicker of a little bit thicker case and a little bit thicker bezel as well. But Rolex has decided to, when they updated to the 126333, they actually slimmed down the bezel, and the case size. For the Skydollar, the reason why the case is much larger is because we have all those additional complications opposed to the simplicity of the Datejust. The Skydollar tracks more things. It has an additional time zone that's tracked by the off-center 24-hour dial. It has the additional of the annual calendar as well, and those two additional complications have been added to the movement, so it's going to have to have a larger case size to accommodate that. Okay, besides that, on the other side, just want to show you really quickly here, nice high polish on the sides of the case as well, with the Rolex crown logo on the crown itself. Let me show you the difference in crown functions now as we move on. So they both have an 18 karat yellow gold crown, both have the same water resistance as well, which is 100 meters and 330 feet. The crowns unwind counterclockwise as shown, and in the standard position you can wind the watch from a dead stop. 15 to 20 clockwise turns is all you need to get the watch started once more. A simple tugging of the crown will allow you to adjust the date instantaneously as shown, going clockwise. And in the final position of the watch, it will stop the seconds hand for precise time setting as shown. And as for such things as an atomic clock online, you can set it down to the exact seconds for precise time setting. Pushing the crown back in will start the seconds hand once more. And always make sure to screw the crown nice and tight in against the case, as you want to keep your watch water resistant and you want to keep it nice and protected. Actually, let me go ahead and readjust this date here. All right. For the Skydollar, it's going to be a little bit different on the functions of the watch. As I mentioned before, the bezel is a Rolex Command ring bezel, and what that means is, like I said, it lets you set the different functions on the crown. So let me go ahead and open up the crown. This is a standard position. Once again, this is where you wind the watch, and adjusting the bezel in the final position, or rather in the standard position for the bezel, but the fully pulled out crown will allow you to use the functions. So in this first position, nothing happens. This is the neutral position, so nothing happens in this current position. Shifting over the bezel once will allow you to adjust the date. Let me actually move the hands out of the way here so you can see that. Okay, as you can see, you can adjust the date instantaneously, very easily, very simply, and this actually is bi-directional. Most Rolex watches will only go in one direction when adjusting a date, and that's forwards. For this Skydollar, you can move forward and backwards, and that actually adjusts the date aperture. As you can see, it's currently on December, and you can just adjust it as so. I actually went back because I went backwards. You can go forward, and bam, back at January. The next function is the quick hour jump system, and this hour hand moves independent of the minute and the seconds hand. So if you're changing time zones, it doesn't interrupt the seconds hand or the minute hand, and you keep that precise timekeeping. Specifically, what it's used for is similar to GMT functions to track an additional time zone. My favorite example to use is the travel time from London to Philippines. Very simple, 7 hours ahead. So in the final position of the Rolex Command bezel, you can adjust the hands and the center off-center dial, and I'll demonstrate that very quickly here. So with a 24-hour scale, you can tell AM, PM. Very nice to know. We'll go ahead and just set the time to 12:10 as shown. So you see that the time in London is 12:10. That's PM. And for Philippines time, you would just shift the bezel back once more, activate that quick hour jump system, and you would just count 7 hours ahead of 12. So starting from the 12 position, 7 hours ahead will just be 7:10. And there we are. You can see the home time is 12:10 in London, and your time you're at currently is 7:10 in the Philippines at 7 p.m. All right, so let's go ahead and get that crown nice and tight in against the case once more. Set the bezel to the neutral position. Keep your watch nice and protected at all times. All right, so let's go ahead and talk about the bracelet now. The bracelet, similar style bracelets. It's just the oyster bracelet with a nice high polished 18 karat yellow gold down the center, matching and contrasting against that brushed steel of the three-piece links on the outer edges. Travels very nicely through the bracelet as well. As you can see, pretty much the same in terms of the bracelet. The clasp, it's going to be a little bit bigger on the Sky Roller, but they still serve the same functions, which is just a folding oyster clasp. As so, opens up to reveal these nicely high polished clasp blades with the Rolex name embossed onto the clasp blades themselves. Okay, go ahead and close this up. Let's go ahead and talk about the movement now. So specifically for the Datejust 41's movement, it's actually an updated movement, and it's based off the flagship Rolex model, the Date 40. The Date 40 has a 3255 movement. The specific movement that this caliber is a 3235 movement. It's in-house made by Rolex. It's a perpetual mechanical self-winding movement with the functions of the central hour, minute, and seconds hand, and the instantaneous changing of the date and the stopping of the seconds hand, as I've shown you with the crown functions. So specifically, what did they update from the watch? Well, they added a chronology escapement wheel, which is a skeletonized escapement wheel that prevents, rather reduces the additional inertia from the watch, allowing it to keep this watch in Swiss specs, which is the -2 + 2 seconds a day. Additionally, that escapement wheel is made out of a nickel phosphorus that pairs very nicely with the oscillator, which is a paramagnetic blue paracomb hairspring, which has additional resistance against magnetism. So you have two sources of things that are, have resistance against magnetism for that precise timekeeping. The power reserve was also updated as well from the 48 hours from the Datejust 2 to now is 70 hours. So almost an additional 24 hours, a whole day's worth of additional power reserve. So you can put this watch down in a Friday evening, pick it back up on a Monday afternoon, and it'll be keeping time just fine. The Sky Roller also has a newer style movement. It's a 9001 movement. That's a perpetual mechanical self-winding movement that has all those complications, the date, the additional time zone with the 24 hours off-center dial, and annual calendar, but also still having the same functions with the hour, minute, and seconds hand, and the different uses of the ring command bezel that I've shown you with the crown. That's why the complication is, rather the movement is much larger, needing that larger case, that 42mm size case. So what does this watch have over the Datejust 1 in terms of movement? Well, besides all those additional complications, it also has a high performance Paraflex shock absorbers, which is an in-house made, Rolex made shock absorbers that they claim to absorb 50% more shocks than the industry standard, which is the KIF shock absorbers that the Datejust 41 has. This one has the in-house made Rolex shock absorbers. So the same oscillator, paramagnetic blue paracomb hairspring, and also it has the chronology escapement wheel as well. The power reserve of this watch is just 2 more hours over the Datejust 41, which is a 72-hour power reserve. So same thing, can put this watch down on a Friday evening, pick it back up on a Monday afternoon, it'll be keeping time just fine. So I'm actually going ahead and show you these watches on my wrist now. So starting with the Datejust, there you are, nice two-tone. Okay, Datejust, always known for its very simple dials. As you can see, just date, hour markers, and the hands. It doesn't sit too high on the wrist because of Rolex's modifications to the case. Nice, slim, sleek case. And here's the Sky Roller now. Okay. Same thing with the bracelet. Nice use of the two-tone contrasting with that stainless steel. You would think with all these additional complications, the annual calendar, the off-center dial, it actually makes the watch, it doesn't look as convoluted as you think it looks. It looks actually very, very nice on the wrist. Doesn't look very complicated at all. Very similar to the Datejust as well. However, it sits much higher because of that, because of the movement. Okay. And those are watches on my wrist. So if you like this model or any other model for the lowest possible price, check out our website at JazTime.com. We have the lowest prices guaranteed. We offer a 1-year warranty. And if you like the videos, please like, comment, subscribe below. Thanks for watching. Hope to see you guys soon.
If you want to find out more about the watch you just saw in the video, you can just click below on Show More to see the full description. Then you can check the link next to model as seen in video, click on it, and you will get to the proper page where you can see all the details. If you're watching on a mobile phone, you have to click on the arrow down on the right hand side below the video to see the full description. If you like this video, please give us a thumbs up. If you would like to share this video with your friends, you can use the share button below and share it on any platform you like. If you have questions, constructive feedback, want to tell us about some mistakes or misspeaks, just write a comment below. If you want to see more videos like this, you should subscribe to our channel and visit our channel page where you can find all the videos. And if you're interested in a specific watch brand, you can check out our playlists. If you want to check the price for a watch or want to buy one, remember at JazTime.com you always get a steep discount, so you should check the prices with us. If you want to know the price for a specific watch, just go to Google, type in JazTime, plus the brand, model, and the details you're interested in, and Google will find the right page for you. Thank you for watching.